Losers Bracket Podcast, round 97, and we have a little bit of a new look this week. We're back from holiday. This is a good feeling, and we're really glad to be bringing you back to the world of esports news, and I am, of course, joined by my co-hosts. Got Asylum with me, got Kurt, got Jerry, and we have a little bit of more video this week as well. Pretty stylish. Have to thank VVV Buzz for his graphical upgrades to the show. And I'm very excited to hear some feedback on it. But first things first, definitely want to hear how the other guys are doing. Christian, let's start out with you, sir. How was your holiday, my man?
Oh, man, the holiday was great. Absolutely loved it. Nice little bit of time off, get to relax, get lost in Star Wars The Old Republic for a little bit. It was a good time. I had a lot of fun, but now we're back in the swing of things. It's 2012. We're ready to get VVV back, rolling, business as usual. We've got a lot of plans for 2012, so we're kicking it into full gear starting today.
Oh yeah, I definitely would agree with that. Now, for this episode, we have, a little bit of video with you and I both here to discuss things on the show. But our other co-hosts, well, we don't have too much for them yet, so we actually do have at least some pictures to represent them. We are looking to upgrade the show a little bit more in the future, get them some video as well. But of course, we are joined by Kurt. Let's start out with Kurt. I think he, Kurt, sir, how are you doing today, sir?
Apparently doing better than you over there, Jason. I don't know what all the giggling's about.
I absolutely love this picture of you, Kurt. Kurt gets all the women. Look at this man. Look at this beautiful man. He.
We actually made Justin leave.
Yeah. Justin, one of our guests for later in the show, just quit the chat because he is so offended by you. That is exactly what is happening. And Voisin in the chat, Voisin just said he'd hit it. So
I drive the men away and drive the women to me. So I don't know what to do, man. I don't know how to do it. You got to tell me when to shut it off. You gingers have something special too. I know. So.
I have no idea what you're talking about, man. We also, of course, have Jerry with us, and I don't know. I personally like this picture of you, Jerry. But how was your holiday? Tell us a little bit about it. And I know you were sucked into SWTOR. How's the game treating you?
Yeah, that's about where I spend most of my time is on Star Wars. Looking at. Somebody said to me, are you going to be a kinder, gentler Jerry this year? And I thought, wow, what an odd thing to ask. So that was a no, and I tweeted about that. And then somebody else asked if I was really human. So I thought I'd start bringing baby pics to the show, just to make sure that nobody had any doubt that I was once a kid. Although, I don't think it's going to be any different this year, to be honest. We have a lot to talk about. I think there's a lot going on in the news, and I want to kind of get to it. I mean, over the last 3 weeks, we kind of left off the show with a bit of the fighting game community controversy, and then I wrote a little bit of a satirical piece that I think made a really good point. A lot of people visited it. I got some hate mail, which is always fantastic, and then we kind of roll into the holidays, and like you said, Star Wars. So why don't we start out by going right to the news? I want to talk all news because some things have happened. I think some things are really interesting, and I think other things will lead up into Apex. So Jason, where do you want to start?
You're still muted there, Jason. You might want to fix that.
Good job, Jason.
Good point. Good point. I should probably unmute myself. That was good call. See, that's the ring rust, man, of being on break for 3 weeks. But hey, all right. I'm going to start off a little bit selfish here, and I say we can start out with some news about me. Yay!
Yes, let's do that.
Why not? I actually just went up to DC this past weekend and got to compete in the first Guitar Hero tournament of the year, which was pretty cool. And I have to give a huge shout out real quick to VVV Jolly. Jolly is one of the best hosts you could ever ask for in your life. This man actually let me into his house, slept on his couch, and was able to go to this tournament all because he was able to do that. So I have to give a big shout out to Matthew Cronin. He is the man. Thank you so much. But I actually got to go up to MAGFest, it was called, in DC, where Activision was doing the first Guitar Hero tournament officially sponsored by them of the year, and I was able to win the tournament, which was a really cool thing to represent VV Gaming in one of our first competitive ventures of the year alongside Apex, which we'll be talking about later. But so you guys know a little bit about the future, we will be having one of the people that runs Guitar Hero's social media on the show in the future to discuss why they are doing these tournaments and what the future holds for this, so that's something to look forward to. Definitely really exciting, and another shout out to the people from Activision and Guitar Hero for linking to us from their Facebook page. I would expect to see more between the two of us in the future. Fingers crossed I will be hosting a Guitar Hero tournament for them. We will see how that goes. But
Jason, I have a quick question, Matty.
Yeah, sure.
I know that we weren't really scheduled for this, but I'm curious. Like, I've made fun of you about Guitar Hero in the past, and I'm not going to today. I'm going to reserve judgment. I'm going to let you just destroy me on CS.
I was just going to say, we've made fun of you on CS. It's okay.
But I do have to ask you, man. They canceled the as far as I was told, the rhythm games. Is this good news for rhythm games? Them actually sponsoring tournaments?
Well, I mean,
is it? I mean,
yeah.
What I'm wondering is it where's it leading? That's a good.
I think that's a very valid question, and to be totally honest, I think that a lot of the competitive rhythm gaming community is getting very excited by this news, because why would they market something that's dead? There's no reason for that to happen. So the only logical conclusion is that there's a new title in the works. Of course, anytime that it's been brought up, they have said, no, not going to happen. We'll see what it comes announced. But the rumor is E3 we'll see a new title released for with information, for possible holiday 2012 release. We'll see if that's true.
Yep.
So
good to hear, buddy.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Oh, I definitely. Oh, thank you. I mean, a really fun tournament. I wish that everyone could have seen some video from it. Really cool setup. On a side note, if anybody's in the DC area or can take a trip to DC next year when MAGFest is there, absolutely incredible. Lots of tournaments. They do tournaments for everything, and every game you could think of. All different old arcade machines. All different. Gaming systems, regular Nintendos, Ataris. It was absolutely out of this world. And then concerts. I mean, the Gaylord in DC is the biggest hotel in the country that isn't a casino, and they took up 4 convention halls in it. I'd say that's pretty big. So if anybody gets the chance to go next year, I definitely recommend it. A lot of fun. I think we talked enough about me. Kurt, why don't you take over? I know there's some news that you wanted to talk about, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose let's get some StarCraft news out of the way. Anybody that follows StarCraft, which is pretty much everyone on the planet now, apparently, the Home Story Cup was this past weekend. I think that's right. This past weekend, Home Story Cup, as a lot of you are familiar with, is ran by Dennis Take Gellin, however you say his last name, anyway. And it's basically ran out of his home. Basically ran out of his, I guess, loft somewhere in Germany. Or some kind of studio apartment or something. And it's really interesting take on these whole tournament scenes. If you guys aren't familiar with it, I do recommend you go to the Justin TV VODs and look at them, because they're not like an MLG, they're not like a DreamHack. It's very, very much more personal. It's all completely casted by the players, mostly casted by the players. Of course, there's some casted with Mr. Bitter thrown in, but it's mostly casted by the players and controlled, and amazing casting as usual. But anyway, so we did see the first showing of the new Evil Genius player, JYP, which I think everybody realized that it was JYP somewhere 6 weeks before EG announced it. But still, it's good to see that JYP on EG. And he did extremely well. He ended up getting third. Sound is really sort of the star of the tournament, to be honest, because Sound, in my opinion at least, came out of nowhere. He's on StarTale, and he's just some random sort of Korean Terran player. But I suppose really the story is the fact that MC is back on top. MC is back to boss toss mode, and he did take first of the tournament. So, and also there was out of the top 8, 6 of those in a row were all Korean. I think that's pretty much every Korean at the tournament. So yeah, it was a literal stomping on. But yeah, I think I wanted to talk about some CS stuff too. Some sad news. I know Jerry will want to talk about a little bit as well.
Why does this not surprise me?
Well, why does it have to be? Why does it have to be that when it's sad news, I want to talk about it?
Well, Steve, it's not going to be sad to you. That's why.
Why? Because look, here's the thing, right? I think what's important to understand is, you know, so everybody knows what we're talking about. It is official that as of now, EG has released their Counter-Strike 1.6 team, and no longer supporting that. And I mean, I don't think it's really a surprise. I mean, the game is old. I mean, at one level, I've been saying this for a long time. Obviously, one of the reasons we never got into 1.6 was sort of the too little, too late, kind of like getting into competitive WoW, too little, too late. But I mean, I think it is a further sign that it's either going to be Go or it's not going to be anything. And I think that Go's got some real challenges. So I guess I'm not really surprised by the news.
To be honest, though, let me ask you a question. Other than the fact that its developer won't give tournaments money, what are the challenges for CSGO?
Well, I mean, I think that is a big challenge. I mean, I've been getting a lot of rumor pushback from Gears of War players who have heard that Gears of War will not be on the MLG Pro circuit. The idea being that Epic is only willing to give 500,000 and MLG needs $1 million for the prize pool and the whole season. So they need to attach it to another sponsor. Whether that rumor is true or not, anybody who runs tournaments, right? So I see the world sort of like anybody who's a developer, if you're EA or if you're anyone else, you may want to do it yourself. Valve, did Dota. They contracted people to do their Dota, Millennium tournament thingy that they had, right? Could they do something similar for Counter-Strike? Sure. But will it be a sustained league? Will they invest in ESEA, let's say? I don't know. And if they don't, I do think the question, who is playing Counter-Strike Go, becomes a fair question, because I don't know the answer to that, right? The Counter-Strike population is aging. I think we can agree that if you look at demographics, young people primarily start and live gaming on consoles. So, I think there are some real challenges. So do I think it's only about the developer? I think that's a big part of it being on a league, but I also think it's about sheer numbers. Are there enough North American Counter-Strike Go fans to make it work? And
that's where me and you probably might differ. Is I think there is. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure there is. I mean, I don't know how you couldn't think there is. I guess to be honest, I think you maybe want to re-examine the numbers. To be honest, when you look at that, because when you look at the fact that the CS:GO Invitational on the invite thing, just for the beta alone, has 12,000 people on Steam community group, or the fact that ESEA is up to 6,000 premium members now. Is that right? Still playing 1.6 or Source. And that's just North America alone. We're not talking about the fact that ESEA has like a Brazil, ESEA has a certain Latin America things. So, I mean, to be honest, I definitely think it's there. I think it's only, and it will be its downfall. Its only problem is if its developer doesn't put money into things. I don't even think they have to put much. I think if they put a significant amount at the start, I don't think it would have to be something where they would have to keep on putting money in, like Riot is, for instance. I mean, Riot eventually will want to pull out, just like all developers would. So
I mean, I think, well, I don't know if I agree with that. Let me come back to that. It's a separate issue. Let me first start by saying, if the numbers you mentioned, I'm not disputing. Let me start there. But is 12,000, is 6,000 enough? Again, as a niche, as ESEA having a Counter-Strike niche, hey, look, if you guys are having tournaments like Quake, like whatever, that's great. Pokemon has tournaments, and I don't even mean that as a joke. I mean, legitimately, there are Pokemon tournaments, and there are Guitar Hero tournaments, right? But if we're looking at the big leagues, I think it's difficult to see Counter-Strike anywhere except possibly maybe the World Cyber Games, because there might be enough global appeal that pushes them too. But I do believe, and I mean this, I do believe, like we see with Crossfire and the free-to-play model, if I were Samsung and whatever backers are going to be attached to kind of World Cyber Games 2.0 as it morphs and feels more Asia-centric to me, does Go have the reach there, or are we going to see Counter-Strike be the premier, Crossfire be the premier PC shooter? That's my point.
Well, just as a note, number one, you don't know that that Global Offensive isn't going to be free to play. Just as a note, they haven't announced that whatsoever.
Fair enough. That is a fair critique. I do not know that, but I am assuming it's not. But you got a good point.
But yeah, to change the subject though. But yeah, I mean, I think the numbers are there. But unfortunately, I don't think we're going to have the chance to find out, because I don't think the team's going to put any money into it. And if they don't put any money into it, no one's going to initially pick it up. And if no one initially picks it up, it has no chance. But
interestingly, I was going to say, interestingly enough, at the Consumer Electronics Show, there is something going on for Counter-Strike, isn't there?
There is, yeah. Plantronics. Plantronics is actually putting on a CSGO show match where they're flying out 4 of the top teams in North America, 2 of which from Source, 2 of which from Counter-Strike 1.6, basically out to CES to do a basically just this big sort of show match thing where they all play CSGO and stuff like that. They're actually broadcasting right now, actually. If you go to twitch.tv or if you go to gamecom.plantronics.com/CES, or you can find it on Twitch TV somewhere, I'm sure. I think there's like 2,000 people or so watching it right now. Yeah, I mean, it's so they sent out 3D Max, which is the Source team. They sent out UMX, which is pretty famous 1.6 team, and then you got Back to Back, which is also 1.6, and Dynamic, which is a pretty famous Source team out there. So, and they're all playing against each other to sort of figure out who can hold it together in CS:GO.
Awesome. All right, well, let's move the news along, Jason. What do we got next? I think the other thing we should talk about that may be interesting, I think, Christian, is that League of Legends is obviously now going to go to Korea. So, Christian, what's going on with that?
Well, it was announced today, I believe it was, or it was announced earlier this week that OGN on GameNet, it's a South Korean broadcasting channel, they're actually going to be starting doing League of Legends. They've got 2 shows. One's kind of like a tips and tricks type show, and then the other one is going to be where they have teams, the top teams from all over the world, playing matches against each other. And for the first invitational, they have 4 Korean teams. They have EDG, MIG, StarTale, and Team OP, which are very prestigious teams in Korea. And then Team World Elite, Team Wii from China. And then last but not least is Counter Logic Gaming from the United States. And I think it's going to be really good, not just for the Korean scene, but it's going to be good for League of Legends and Riot Games as a whole. And not only that, but they're going to be holding all this in the Yongsung Esports Arena. I had the opportunity when I was over in Korea actually to go to the Yongsung Esports Arena, and it's very nice. And it's going to be I think it's going to be a completely awesome experience. They've done a lot of great things, OGN, with StarCraft, and I want to see what they're going to do with League of Legends. I think it's going to be really good.
This is really, really, really good for League of Legends. And it was honestly one of those decisions that surprised me a little bit, because mainly I wonder what Riot's doing with this. Like, I wonder, number one, if Riot's giving them any money. I'm just curious about that. I mean, there's no bad answer to that. I'm just wondering if they are. And also, League of Legends, unfortunately, because of the way Riot's set up right now, it's a little bit hard to run. So I wonder if that means that they're sending people over there to help run it, or if what's happened there. I wonder how long this has been in the works, because I had not heard about this. So I'm really surprised and glad. I'm also really glad that OGN, who is traditionally a little bit Korean elitist, which that's a bad word for it, but it's understandable. I mean, they're a Korean network. So I was really, really happy to see them invite CLG. That's pretty huge. That you're going to have a USA team over there. Not to mention, technically they're one of the best teams in the world. So we'll see if they get absolutely demolished, because I saw them. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the first time that a Korean team has ever played CLG, like a really top name Korean team. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct, except for the WCG qualifier. Well, no, they all played each other in WCG qualifiers, but yeah, this is going to be the first time that's going to be publicly broadcast. OGN, CLG playing against Korean teams, especially with such prestigious teams like StarTale and EDG. These are teams that are well seated in RTS titles, in MOBA titles. These guys know what they're doing, and people, us here in America, we haven't seen them play League of Legends yet. We haven't seen them on ESL. We haven't seen them in the Alienware Arena. We haven't seen them in the Intel Extreme Masters. We haven't seen them anywhere. So I'm really, really excited to see what they decide to do and how the Koreans take League of Legends and how they bring it in and ultimately change the metagame, because they are very well known for switching up the meta.
I mean, personally, I feel like if it were anything, it's a big opportunity. I mean, if CLG can do really well, I think it becomes very interesting. I mean, there's a final lesson to be learned here, and I'm always a believer that if a country isn't good at something, they don't care about it, right? Why Americans tend to prefer football and basketball over, let's say, soccer, right? It's not something that we're good at. I see similar things sometimes in gaming. If CLG ends up being really, really good and brings something to the table that makes them dominant, is that good for Korean esports television? I don't know. Or will they invite more American teams and it's great for everyone? That would be my question.
Well, right now, Counterlogic Gaming is arguably the best team in the world right now. Only to be beat out by possibly Dignitas.
Really? Really? World Elite. No shout out to World Elite.
They did lose to World Elite also. Sorry, I did forget the Chinese team. I apologize. But
that's my point though. We don't know how they're going with the Koreans. The Koreans could just demolish because we've never seen them, and that's what a lot of people have thought in the past would happen.
They very, very well could. And to be quite honest, I'm expecting it. They've been playing Dota for well over a decade now.
Yeah.
And they've been playing it professionally, so it's going to be really interesting to see what they bring to League of Legends. It is a different game, different play style, different phases, different methods, but the Koreans are extremely, extremely adaptable when it comes to their gaming, especially in the MOBA genre. So I'm expecting Korea to come out in force. I mean, we saw what World Elite did against Counterlogic Gaming. Made them look really bad. So we're going to see how Korea fares up against the rest of the world. Now would be the time to say something, Kurt.
I don't know. I was just going to say, we know Kurt.
You would not believe I was on the channel, and I tried to unmute myself with the video chat channel thing. Really, my brain is frazzled today. No, what I was going to say is I'm really sad that I'm going to have to watch it in Korean, apparently.
Have you listened to Korean commentators? They are absolutely nuts, and I love it.
Crazy,
I love it. I can't wait to see what they do with League of Legends, just going all out crazy like they did back in the Brood War days.
All right.
You know what?
League of Legends. That's all you're getting.
Exactly.
We have guests. Mm-hmm. We got to get to guests. We have guests who are waiting on us.
That is true.
Mm-hmm.
We had Apex this weekend, so I know we want to talk about that. Although there are other things I'd like to talk about, just for the record. So any of you competitive gaming esports snobs, I'm aware other things have gone on. There are some things that are newsworthy, but I want to get to the big events. 2012's already started with Apex. Jason, who do we have for Apex?
I am going to need to see if we can pull in Rapture and Diembrandon. Let's see if we can get them added to the call and get them in here so they can chat with us about how the event went. Rapture actually was at the event. Of course, Rapture used to be one of our co-hosts here on the show, Dakota Lasky. And then Diembrandon, actually way back in the day, we had him as a part of VUV as well. I guess all roads do lead back to VUV, as you like to say, right, Jerry? But he definitely was a staff member at the event as well, and see if we can get him in here so he can give us his thoughts on how the event went. All right. Let's see.
Swag.
Oh, look at this. I can't even believe we have this guy back on the show. No, it's good to hear from you. It's good to hear from you. How have you been, man? It's been a while.
I've been, first of all, recently I've been exhausted, obviously from Apex, but lately I've been doing good, just, max and relax and act all cool, shoot some people outside of the school, etc.
Oh my god.
The usual.
Oh, Rapture, I'm a little disappointed. I thought you were going to have some video for us, throw on the webcam so we could see that beautiful face.
Oh my god, I'm a mess. I'm a
Aw.
mess. I'm a mess.
You know that people want to see it since we just finally added webcam integration. They want to see that beautiful mess.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Really, I'm not sure if I agree with you on that call. To be honest, let's keep with the sexy voice, and maybe another time I can bring out the next tier of sexiness.
Fair enough. All right, and let's see if we can get Diem in here as well. Oh my God, Brandon! Holy
My
crap!
boy.
How in the world have you been, sir? It's been a while since MLG Orlando, I believe. Brandon, how have you been, sir?
Average, I guess. Pretty normal. Living my completely average American life.
This dude, mad cute. What's up, Diem?
That's so
slightly
sweet.
cute, yeah.
So, okay, hold on. Before we go any further, I want to know some news about Apex. How did this event go? Tell us. Okay, for those that are listening, don't know what the hell Apex is, maybe we should start there. Dakota, give us a little bit. You were there on the ground floor. Tell us, how did the event go, and what exactly is it?
All right, well, Apex, as the name suggests, was, one of the biggest events that the fighting game community has seen. Definitely for Smash. We had guys from all across the globe pretty much participating in Brawl, Melee, Smash 64, and then we had other fighting games, Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, even Pokemon made an appearance. 3 days of hectic craziness that culminated in a really with guys like Armada taking the Melee title, Japanese players taking 2 places in the top 3 in Brawl, and I believe I don't remember who won 64, but they're from Canada, which is really hype. So the United States, step your game up in Smash. But ultimately, it was a really crazy event. It was chaotic. It was. I'm glad I went. I'm glad I was participating there. I know Diem could probably say more about it because him and Doom did such an amazing job running that event that I'm almost baffled that they haven't won a plaque or medal or something. To be honest with you. To be completely honest with you.
Diem, tell us a little bit about what you were doing with the event, my man.
So whenever you run an event, whether it's big or it's small, whether it's 30 people or 3,000 people, every TO has the same list of things in their head that could go wrong. And the worst case scenario usually takes about 8 to 10 of the million things that can go wrong. That's usually your worst case scenario, and that's what we planned for. Unfortunately, our worst case scenario was much worse than that. Everything that could possibly go wrong at a tournament besides the pot money being stolen just happened in succession. And it was a complete nightmare. It was one of the most frightening days of my entire life, to be honest. But somehow I managed to get my head out of my ass and really work harder than I think I've ever worked in my entire life. And with the help of the most amazing staff, I think I could have, I don't even understand how I picked these people. I feel like I won the lottery. With the help of these people, this event really came to fruition after some horrible setbacks on Saturday. And we managed to finish to an amazing amount of hype as well. We had amazing numbers in attendance. We had a great amount of people on stream. And I couldn't be more excited. Just for it to be over.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Agreed. Oh, my God.
And you guys were on the road to EVO as well, right?
I was just going to say, you guys are now part of the road to EVO. Explain what that's about.
Well, Evolution every year has preliminary tournaments that they, I guess, sponsor a partnership with. Basically, they put their name on it, and they give you a lot of hype, which does actually get you a lot of new attendees. We had about 5 days to plan for the road to Apex, which we were not planning to get. I applied for it in September or October, and I sent a few emails out, but I never actually got a response. So I expected at this point that it wasn't going to happen. I was okay with that. I'm like, okay, we're in January. EVO's in July. I wasn't really expecting anything. I got it. I got the email on December 31st, and I'm like, I have less than a week to make this happen. Unfortunately, at this point, the floor plan had been done. Our reservations for everything had been done, so we couldn't afford to give the fighting game community any more space, which really sucked because our initial estimation of 150 turned out to be around 290, which we accommodated barely in a very cramped space, which was extremely unfortunate. One of the biggest complaints about the tournament was the fighting game players had almost no space, which is something I had to hold to my chest. I had people I mean, to move chairs out of the way. We threw tables up against the wall. I mean, it was. I'm very much all about aesthetics. I mean, I dress as nicely as I can. I encourage all my commentators. I'm sure you can see from Jason's or Paradise's avatar right now. Our commentators were dressed in coat, not a coat, but they had shirt and tie. I mean, this is what I'm about. And I had tables up against the wall, and there was chairs strewn about. I mean, it wasn't a good situation to be in.
I've got to bring up. I actually think I'm going to try to see if I can pull up this picture here that I have queued up here, just so people can see how crowded Apex was. This is a shot from a match between U2 King and I believe the eventual winner, if I'm correct, right?
Ocean.
Oh shit!
You look
my
so
man.
defeated.
Look at this picture, guys. Holy crap!
U2 King is the top-seeded player in America. I mean, no matter who he loses to or when he loses, he has so many wins and so many accomplishments in every version of Smash that he is widely regarded as the best player, even when he loses. Mewtwo King fell out of a stank 13th place, which I think is the lowest we've ever seen Mewtwo King place in Brawl. And he fell to what I assume was the second lowest seeded player from the Japanese, Ocean, in a matchup that is 3-7 in Mewtwo King's favor.
Oh, that was a crazy match. I was in the crowd. I wish I was in that photo because I've been hyped, but I was over to the right a little bit, and I'm like 6'2", okay, and I could barely see into this. That's how many people are watching, and it was an absolutely hype match. I know some people were like a little ticked because Americans were cheering for a Japanese player and against an American player, but and I can understand that, and I have no hatred against Mewtwo King, but Ocean was definitely an underdog going into that match. He's playing as Rob, who I think is a booty character,
probably the worst character ever.
But I played him in Mario Kart DS, and he was hype. But I mean, going into that match with such a terrible matchup, as the underdog, as one of the lower seeded Japanese players, you can't help but cheer for the guy. And when he did win, which by the way, if he didn't, I probably would have cried inside because of the amount of hype that was generated. You're gonna generate a crowd like that, where the point that there are layers upon layers of people that can't even see. That photo probably represents a quarter of the people that are actually watching. If I'm not
and
mistaken.
This was off to the side.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
We only have one stream.
That's actually, and I'm chiming in here, someone who knows nothing about Smash, but that picture actually is the epitome of competitive gaming. It really is. And he put my picture up. I can't see it anymore, so I can't. but it really, the picture is absolutely amazing as far as how detailed everyone's face is and the expression in which they're just getting crazy hype. My favorite, and Jason, could you put the picture back up? Just real quick. Just so I can talk about what I'm talking about.
Yeah, 1 second. Let me see if I can get that back up for you. Let's see here.
For somebody who doesn't have a webcam, he's awfully demanding, isn't he?
I know, right?
Back up for me now?
I don't know. Well,
look
at that face. That does look like a pretty demanding face there. Look at that.
It's the hair, I think.
Oh, man.
Wrong picture, Paradise.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I'm trying to learn that
was
Meta Knight versus Pikachu matchup right there. Come on.
But
this picture right here.
Quick question while we're
Yeah, there
waiting.
we go. Thank
Is your hair longer now?
Oh yes. Probably. It's been about almost a year ago, so it's probably at least a foot longer than that.
Wow.
Or a little bit less than a foot longer. I'd say 7 inches longer than 6 inches.
There's just
pretty long.
So much emotion in this picture.
Yeah,
that's
this
what
picture. Honestly, I want to rip it from whoever has it because it's really. I mean, Jerry, if you actually looked at this picture, it's really amazingly detailed. How
my girlfriend
everyone
has said
there's one guy fucking crying beside Mewtwo. That's it.
This guy right here, where I've got the mouse on.
Oh my God, Ally is so depressed right now.
One guy, he is ready to sob.
This guy's face right here, beautiful. And also, I absolutely love this guy has his mouth over to the side a little bit, like in the whoa.
But hold on here a second, Kurt. I got to come back in my own defense here. And I'm just going to say this because I think it needs to be said. I have been supporting Brawl ever since I met the Brawl community. Despite, whether or not somebody liked me, I've always said on the show the Brawl community is probably one of the best and most engaged communities in professional gaming. StarCraft does a great job, don't get me wrong. But I don't know a bored brawler. I can scan a room of StarCraft fans, and not everyone is engaged as Brawl fans are. So I'm just going to say, sort of for the record, right? For the record, I've always been a deep fan of the amount of passion and engagement from the Brawl community. I'm not surprised by this picture.
I'm going to defend the stance though a little bit though, because I don't think it's just the Brawl community. I know we've all had our words with the fighting game community, but I think it's the fighting game community. Period. I don't think it's just exclusive to Brawl by any means. I think
I disagree because
I disagree as well.
Yeah, I
really
completely disagree.
100%,
but I'll let Diem speak because he's got more knowledge here.
Yeah, but hold on. Let me before just let me chime in just real quick though, and then I'll gladly I want to hear this. But the only thing with me, I mean the thing about the Brawl community, rather than the quote unquote, I guess this is going to be sound awful, but the mainstream fighting game, the Street Fighters and stuff like that.
We just call them the fighting game community, FGC.
Yeah.
Hashtag
FGC. The only difference between them, I think Smash has a lot more to gain. So they are like, I love the fact that they are like, fuck you guys, we're gonna grow this shit from the outside in,
That's
or
not
the
even
inside
close
out.
to how it actually is, though. See, like when you have a game like Street Fighter, or have a game like Call of Duty, or Halo, or StarCraft, you have a parent company that goes above and beyond the Call of Duty. Yeah, I said it twice. That just happened. Goes above and beyond the call to ensure that their game has both a casual play and a competitive setting. Smash, our parent company, actually deters us so much from competitive play that they added random tripping into the game. They hate us. They hate us so much. And because of these kinds of things, we as a community had to band together to ensure that our game can be played at a competitive level. With that said, we have created rule sets that make absolutely no sense from the actual from the non-competitive setting. I mean, when you turn Smash on for the first time, there's like half the cast unlocked, half the stages unlocked, most of which are crazy and throwing things in your face every 5 seconds. And there's items spawning at random intervals at random places to help turn the tides of matches. We have somehow created a system of counter picks and banning things to ensure that this game can be played at a competitive level. Now, because of its cartooniness and the cast of characters, a lot of other communities shun it specifically because of aesthetics, which is ridiculous considering that aside from EVO, no tournament really is getting more than 256 players for any game, and obviously MLG and, of course, StarCraft. But, I mean, Apex Brawl 2012, we had 400 entrants from, like, 11 different countries, including 12 Japanese players. And, yeah. I mean, that kind of tight-knit community, I mean, we set up donation blogs. We do anything we can in the community. The same players that are spending $1,000 to come to Apex just to get bodied in pools are giving hundreds of dollars away to other players just so they can meet them for the first time. I don't know any other community that does that. For instance, this weekend, on Friday, a Georgian carpool of 5 players drove to my event, and they hit a patch of black ice in southern Jersey. And for those of you who are in warmer places don't understand black ice, it's when a very thin layer of moisture is on a very cold ground, and it looks wet, but it's actually just pure ice. They hit a patch of it, spun out, and wrapped their car around a pole. Every few hours I went on stage and I collected donations for these players. And even though their car was totaled, we had enough money to send all 5 of those players home. And I don't know a single other community that would have been able to do that. Like, I mean, the amount of family
I could maybe argue StarCraft, but
now, do you think the StarCraft players would do it because a pro player went on the mic and asked them to do it and they felt obligated? Or do you think they would do it specifically because there was actual, pure, unadulterated sympathy?
I mean, I think the point Diembrandon brings is one that's not provable. And Kurt, I think arguing it is pointless. But I just want to finish. I don't think you guys are going to settle that, right? Because I don't think...
I agree.
And I just don't want to get caught up in it because...
And I'm not like the biggest StarCraft fanboy or anything, and I'm damn sure not shitting on Brawl. My whole thing was I was trying to support Brawl, but I'm just my whole thing, just to get back to what I was talking about. That picture is amazing. Whoever took the picture, it really embodies.
Actually, I think
esports. Period.
That picture was taken by Robert Paul. He goes by Delirium. Robert Paul is the man.
This guy. Let me tell you about this guy.
He even acted as a ref for us, aside from taking close to 2,000 pictures. And I think every picture he took was godlike. I mean, if you take a look if you go to robertpaul.smugmug.com, there's a whole like gallery of all the events that he's done. This guy is the best gaming photographer I've ever seen. So anybody out there, and this includes MLG, if you're running events and you're looking for a photographer, this guy captures the goddamn action. Like, please throw him all the money that you can. I wish I had enough money to pay this guy more. I mean, I want to give him my car for the pictures that he took. I mean, you guys see the ocean pic. That should be a stock photo for competition. You type in the word competition, and that picture should come up.
And you know what? I'll tell you what. Apex 2012 was the first time that I had ever actually watched Brawl on a competitive level. And as soon as I turned the stream on this weekend, I could not turn it off. It had me captivated.
Thank you.
Brawl, a lot of people don't see Brawl as a competitive game.
And that's a shame.
It's a damn shame because it's absolutely amazing to watch. Yeah, it's cartoony, but come on. If you're actually looking at it as a competitive title, you can see the amount of skill that this game takes in order to be successful in it. It is absolutely amazing to see players play on that kind of level with this rule set. And I, for one, think that if given the right time and the right space, Brawl can make it up into a much higher level of competitive play. Will we see it back at MLG? Maybe, but
I don't think we're going to see it back at MLG. At least not for now, because Smash, I mean, Nintendo won't allow their game to be streamed, and MLG hemorrhages money when they put a game on the circuit that they can't stream. But a great point that you make is a lot of people don't see the competitive value, and the major competitive value is what the main fighting game community calls footsies. It's basically just poking each other, trying to get that read so you can combo. In Melee, there are very difficult to do combos. In a Brawl, there are very, very few combos. So you just need to win these small altercations over and over to be able to get a kill. Now, what's amazing is we have a lot of players that are now transferring into other games, and I can attest that almost none of us practice these games. I mean, I play Marvel at a very, I guess not top level competitively, but I play very high. I can go even with top players. I have a few very notable tournament wins, but I can tell you, man, I don't play the game at all. And what makes me decent at the game is the fact that with Brawl, I have to win 20 to 30 altercations or 20 to 30 sets of footsies to be able to win a game. Maybe even more than that, maybe closer to 40 or 50. In Marvel, I have to win 3. So if I get 3 reads, which I'm usually doing within 10 seconds in Brawl, I win a game. So, like, without practicing, without knowing matchups, I'm able to go to tournaments and do well because of how much strength there is in fundamentals in me, specifically because of Smash.
Right, and for a lot of people, there's a lot of people in here don't exactly come from a fighting game community. They come from more RTS, or they come from more of a MOBA genre, or shooter, like Counter-Strike, like Call of Duty, or like the League of Legends and the StarCrafts. And exchanges might be a little bit confusing them. A lot of our community, we refer to them as raids, which is relatively the same thing as when you are really close to each other and you exchange combat. Whoever comes out on top, losing the least amount of hit points or whatever, ends up winning that trade or that exchange. So just watching the stream myself for the whole weekend, I could see there's a lot of trading going on, a lot of exchanges going on, and those trades, those exchanges, if you make the wrong move at the wrong time, you're going to get punished for it. And that's one thing I really like about watching Brawl.
Yeah, I would definitely say that's such a basic thing there, Brawl. There's
I'm
so
going to move
much
it just a little bit forward, and I want to talk a little bit more about this road to Evo and sort of some of the other games that were at Apex, because I mean, obviously Brawl is the headliner, but Diem, there were other games there too. Why don't you talk a little bit about those?
Okay, sure. We hosted Mortal Kombat 9, Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition 2012, and Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Luckily for me, the Combat Network, which is a great group of people, offered to come through and help me run pools and bracket for Mortal Kombat. A quick shout out, without you guys, that wouldn't have happened. I love you all deeply, and I'm so glad to have met all of you. So thank you so much for coming. Now, AE and Marvel we ran at the same time. We were behind schedule because originally we had 150 people coming, and they all said, even though I wanted to start at 9, in the morning, 9 to 10. I mean, that's when Brawl tournament starts, and we're used to 14, 15-hour days. So I expected, tournament veterans in 10 years would be okay with that. They weren't. So I pushed it back from 9 or 10 to 2 or 3. That didn't give me enough time for scheduling, so I told them we'll have to alter the schedule and bring it up the next day, which they didn't appreciate, but I mean, it had to happen. But aside from the first couple hours of cramped space and slow bracket running, thanks to a few staff members that I'm not going to name who didn't show up, who I paid in advance, who I'm a little salty about, everything went off almost without a hitch. Sunday's hype was absolutely amazing. Now, the top 8 for both games was played on stream. And one major match I think I want to talk about here is Alucard versus Diembrandon. Now, AG Diembrandon, always godlike, shout out to always godlike, you guys are great, is a tournament vet. I mean, this guy's been around for years. He's a Philly Grandmaster. I mean, he was probably like top 5 in the world in Tatsunoko versus Capcom. He's one of the most famous players from MVC2. He plays every game at top level, and he managed to lose against a Melee player who's been an up-and-coming Marvel player for a long time, Alucard, playing a very strange team of Wesker on point, who's the most popular character, but then Iron Man, who's not played by anybody except for him, and Super Skrull, who up until this point has like no major tournament accomplishments. And seeing that kind of hype and seeing everyone in the crowd stand up and yell Inferno was one of the highlights of the weekend for me. So, I mean, even though there was a few hitches, I am so pumped that these people came through, even if a lot of them are still mad at me because of how slow that ran on Saturday, just to be able to see the top 8 and have the players and the Melee players experience the fighting games, and having the same fighting game players experience Smash at top level. I think it went over pretty well.
Yeah, now I actually wanted to talk about Mortal Kombat real quickly, because we did have players
CD
there.
Junior and VVV0.
Oh, of course. So I wanted to just say, we had of course, CD Junior in the grand finals. And could you just talk a little bit about what happened and who ended up winning, and the matches, and how the Mortal Kombat tournament turned out?
I think Rio is a fantastic player, and I respect him to death. But he is just one of those players I love to see lose. I don't know why. I think it's the fatality spam. But, I mean, he is such a good player. And, like, coming into every tournament, no matter who it is, no matter how much they play, they are the underdog against Rio, because Rio is absolutely amazingly talented at this game, and he puts in so much hard work, and you guys should be so proud to sponsor him. But seeing him get is a phenomenal event. I mean, Chris G, I think everyone expected to take it once he was in grand finals, but CD Junior played like a god, and he deserves every cent and every Evo point and every dollar you guys spent on him to get there. I mean, this guy was absolutely on fire, and he absolutely deserves this win. And I'm so proud that he came to Apex to support you guys and support Apex and support the Mortal Kombat community. It was a really, really great event.
Yeah, I think CD Junior is a real ambassador for Mortal Kombat. I think he does. He brings that kind of, I think, personality and passion that really give a game the kind of, and especially Mortal Kombat. I think Mortal Kombat, in a way, hasn't gotten the fighting game community's love as much as some of the core staple games. And I think people like CD Junior is what helps keep it around. But that's at least my opinion as somebody outside of that.
I totally agree.
So I'm hoping that, with the work he does and other things, because as a spectator, and this has nothing to do, I like watching Mortal Kombat. The game is visually appealing to me. So I think it's easy on the eyes and it can have mainstream appeal. Now, whether or not the greater fighting game community will ever accept that, I'm not so sure.
All right, it's my turn, Jerry. I've got to ask my nightly question here. All right, I ask it every time we have anyone remotely on that has anything to do with the fighting game community.
Esports.
I get shit on it. I get shit on it every time.
Esports.
Okay, thank you. I get shit on every time for mentioning it, but I have to ask.
Esports, 100% esports. You don't even have to ask the question. I am behind it.
I know you guys are behind. No, this is a separate question.
Oh man, what could you possibly be asking then?
Why does he just changed his entire mode of thinking because like shit, they got me. Now I gotta ask something else.
Gotta think of something else quick.
Hashtag esports.
Yeah.
So
but please. I've got to ask, why is Tekken not accepted?
Yo, good question.
Of all the questions to ask? Really?
Yo.
You know me. I ask this every
Tekken
time
is
when we had
absolutely
Spooky
accepted.
on. I asked him the same
I
thing.
actually-
Spooky's like just laughed at me, but
All right, so
All right,
basically, the fighting game community has two different stances. It's 2D or 3D, plain and simple. I mean, there's not a lot of players that dabble in both. When it comes to Tekken, what happened was there was a very large rift in the community, a la Melee and Brawl or Soul Calibur 2, Soul Calibur 3. After Tekken Tag Tournament, the game took a drastic step in a different direction. I mean, they added walls, they shortened the cast. But the main thing is that one character was so stupidly broken, and the community didn't have the state of mind or peace of mind or presence of mind to ban him, even though he should have been, because he was absolutely untouchable in any way, that nobody played the game anymore. It was just stupid. I mean, every final match was Jin versus Jin. Just this one move that he had was his frame data was absolutely stupid. And after that, I mean, even though they made progress, it never really came back out. I think that's why Namco is releasing Tekken Tag Tournament 2, because Tekken Tag Tournament is widely regarded as the best Tekken game. It is absolutely the most fun game like ever made. Everybody in the world played it. And hopefully with this new version, Tekken Tag Tournament 2, or TTTT, I hope that was a misstep, but I hope that we can spark a new, just a new interest in it, because I've played it at EVO, I've played it at a few other spots. It's really, really quite good. And so far, it isn't too broken. And in fighting games, I think that's the biggest appeal.
I was going to hop in, Kurt. You don't want to ask the esports question?
Come on, I got it.
Rapture wants to say
I don't.
something.
Jerry, I'm gonna give it to you.
Oh, well, I mean, I think I've said my piece in sort of a funny way, right?
Indeed, you have.
I mean, I think that and again, and I'm going to rant about this later, but and it has nothing to do with the fighting game community. It has the idea with, oh, I'm so special.
Yes,
Look,
no, I absolutely agree.
Right? I mean, like, I don't care who said it. Like, oh my God, Jerry, you talk shit about fucking Tom. Well, I'll talk shit about Tom's mom, too. I don't give a fucking shit what anybody thinks about who I'm picking on. I'm going to call it out the way it is, whether fucking Spooky likes it or Uncle Woody likes it. I don't care, right? The key is that the fighting game community, right, stands to gain a lot of positive things
There's no
by
negative.
being part of the bigger esports community.
There's no
and
negative.
It's good for everyone. I learned things from the Brawl community. I am a better understander, one who understands about fighting games, and also a little bit about what a special kind of community bond from having to play face to face, for not having an online component, which is something I think no one would live without when you think about a competitive title. And if I go through the list of all the other games, all the other communities, Call of Duty, Gears, Halo, StarCraft, these are online communities that come to land to fight. Well, the fighting game community isn't that way, and my introduction to that community was through Brawl. And I think that Brawl, when you see it, as Kurt commented on that picture, as someone who is not into the fighting game community scene, or at least not Brawl, you start to get those moments of going, wow, there's an energy here, a palpable energy that I can put my finger on. And I think everybody benefits when there's that cross-pollination. Do people have something to lose? Well, let's say that ESPN came along and decided they were going to invest huge amounts of money in esports. And all of a sudden, I don't know, they didn't pick up Marcus, and Live on 3 now is a small show in the big amounts, and there's no more losers bracket and all this other stuff, and we all have to watch ESPN do esports. And let's say they do it right. Let's say we're not that fucking precious, and somebody at ESPN could actually do decent game commentary, make it interesting, and do something we all love.
By the way, I'm
Just
looking hard.
playing devil's advocate here, right? At the end of the day, I'm happy. Right, I'm grateful. I get to go on the beach. I get to hear about esports. I am happy because I am passionate about esports. I suspect some individuals, it's not quite the same passion. It's only a passion if I am in a certain position of power, and that's what I critique.
Now, I agree, and I've been making the same point for months, almost a year now, and I'm sure Rapture has heard me rant about it. The only people who don't want esports to absorb, I said smash, all fighting games are the people who have something to lose. Now, whether I'm calling people out by name or I'm not calling people out by name, if you think I'm talking about you, I probably am. If you have something to lose, then lose it. or make it so good that we can't afford to lose you. If you can't do that, what the hell are you doing here? Plain and simple. I mean, I don't want to see players like Justin Wong having to skim for rent or work other jobs. This kid's playing 40 hours a week every game on the planet so he can make a living off of it, and you're holding him back. Same thing. It's the same thing. It's the same reason we don't have Daigo here every week. We have the Koreans here all the time. The Koreans are here all the time. Where are the Japanese? Why are the Japanese not here every week for fighting games? It's because the fighting games segregate themselves into this little community and that they feel is so precious. Dude, MLG has picked up Smash twice now, and both times because of Nintendo, we had to be dropped.
And that being said too, from my understanding, didn't MLG, because I know they did Tekken, MLG did Tekken correctly, so you can't be like, oh, well, MLG won't do Street Fighter correctly.
Exactly. No, they did it better.
MLG did Tekken correctly. Like, the whole thing they were scared about being fucking seats, and they had to sit down, and they had to, they couldn't wear their fucking hats in the building or some bullshit like that. And it's like, there's no argument there because MLG, it was hype, so... I don't know. I think MLG did both of them correctly. So.
Well, since there is a little bit of a pause here, I want Jason, to be honest, we're probably going to have to move things forward.
Yep.
You know what? Think, though,
hold on, Jerry.
Jason, go ahead.
We're going to actually need to restart this real quick because apparently from what the chat is saying is that there is a little bit of audio problems going on right now. So let's take a quick second to restart the call. I'm going to restart XSplit, and then we'll come right back.
Sounds like good. It's a good time for a break, and we'll be right back. And when we come back from break, we're actually going to talk about Star Nation, the movie. We're going to switch to StarCraft 2. But I want to bring Dakota and Diem back at a later point in time to continue to this conversation, get some coverage on the road to EVO and other things like that. So I'll let you restart the call, Jason, but then we're going to move to StarCraft.
Sounds good.
So to Dakota and Diem, a pleasure having you on the show. Congratulations on a great Apex, and I look forward to hearing more from both of you throughout the year.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys, and we will be right back. We are going to restart this call, and we will restart the stream in just 1 second. Would be back. Now with all audio problems fixed. Good, there we go. Gotta hate when we have technical issues, but hey, we're done with one subject, Apex. We would like to thank Diem and Rapture for coming on the show and talking about amazing tournament that was put on. Thank you very much. We are going to be moving on to Star Nation, which if you don't know exactly what that is, we'll hear about it from the man himself who's helping to create this masterpiece. Justin Agnew is going to be joining us here in just a slight second. But first, as a transition, I'd like to point something out real quick. Asylum, Christian, how you doing, buddy, first of all? You doing good?
Doing good. What's up?
Okay. So, everyone take a look at Christian. Take a look at him real quick.
Oh, God, you're doing it, really?
Take a look at him. Now take a look at this. Take a look at Gumby, and take a look at Christian.
He did it.
There is a really big resemblance between the two, and I really just wanted to point this out while we had the time. So
I hate you.
It's just I felt like it needed to be done. So now that is out of the way, poor Asylum.
That is so wrong. But anyways, why don't we bring our amazing guest on?
Yes, I agree. Justin Agnew is joining us tonight, and sir, let's not even have me do any introductions. I'd like to have you introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're doing with this Star Nation.
Sure. My name's Justin Agnew. I'm the director and I'm also producing Star Nation, a documentary about the StarCraft 2 professional gaming scene.
Very neat. That is pretty darn cool to hear. How did this get started? What was the inspiration for this? And I know I had seen a little bit on Kickstarter, I believe it was, on how this got funded. Tell us a little bit about that as well.
Sure. I started playing StarCraft casually when it came out. A lot like Warcraft 3. When I played Warcraft 3, I had no clue that there's a professional scene surrounding the game. So as I started playing StarCraft 2 more, I got hooked up with like Husky and Day 9. Eventually, kind of like discovered the pros and this professional gaming scene that was kind of behind everything. and I was just fascinated by it. I'd never heard of professional gaming. I thought it was great, and I live in Austin, Texas, and there was a tournament that MLG, the first tournament of the season, was in Dallas. So I took a last-minute Greyhound bus up to Dallas, Texas, to attend MLG, and I guess the rest is history. I posted my Kickstarter and didn't expect to get the response that I got. Since then, the project has changed quite a bit, but it's all very exciting. And
let's talk about the details on that, because I think that is something most makers would die to have in your position as the kind of initial seed money that Kickstarter provided. Talk about how much money you raised, and let's start there. How much money did you raise from Kickstarter alone?
From Kickstarter, it was approximately, the total on Kickstarter was $24,000, but after fees that Kickstarter takes out and Amazon takes out, ended up being about $21,000 that I received. And, I've gotten donations from fans since then through our website, but primarily it's been Kickstarter money.
Awesome. And what were you expecting to raise?
Well, initially my goal, I was debating quite a bit what I should make my goal, but it was $9,750, and that was a bare minimum. That was bare bones. It's I just want to make sure I reached a goal that was reasonable and I could do something with, and that was to attend 3 MLG events, and surpassed that, and then I was let's try and take this thing to Europe or Korea, and then there's the fans came through, and the StarCraft 2 community is great. It's got such a strong fan base, and they're very passionate about sharing what they have with the world.
Yeah, I mean, to the point we were talking about earlier with the fighting community guys, with the Smash guys, they were talking about providing money to help out a fellow guy who had had actually got in an accident and things like that. I know it's not as dramatic as that, but the fact that every single cent that was put into this was completely from the community. I mean, it was a Reddit thing, it was a Team Liquid thing that everybody just put into you. I think it really speaks for the StarCraft community, and I'm not the biggest StarCraft fanboy in the world, but it really speaks for the StarCraft community that they're look, we want to see this so much that we're willing to help you make it, plain and simple.
Yeah, they're a very, very special group of people. It's such an incredible. I just feel humbled that I've happened to get wrapped up in this whole thing, but it's
now,
pretty great.
It's funny you bring that up. You were talking about getting wrapped up into things. I'm just wondering, what was your sort of initial reason for wanting to do this? What, right out of the gate? I mean, I'm sure you got the basics. You like StarCraft. we get that, man. We get that. What are you looking to show in it more than that?
Well, just to start off, how I got into it, this idea to do documentaries. I have a master's of architecture degree, so that's my background. I grew up building homes with my father, and then naturally just making homes. And then I decided I don't want to swing the hammer anymore, so I was all right, let's get into architecture and get on the drafting side of things. And when I graduated, is into the worst building economy that we've seen, and that was in 2009, and it was still persisting. But I worked some construction, saved up some cash. I moved from Minnesota to Austin, Texas on a whim. I was down here, getting things going, and I've always been an avid documentary film fan. I'm the guy that friends go to and ask, what documentary should I watch now? What's the latest good one? I give them a list. But my friend Greg Elsner, he was in a documentary that was shown here in town at the South by Southwest Festival, which is coming up here. I believe IPL has an event going on there. But he was in a documentary, and I watched the documentary, and it was really good. And I told myself, I was I could do this. So, I felt like I had a very strong subject matter and the passion for StarCraft that I had as a casual player. That there's so much richness and depth, and it goes from all the way from the pros, these people who put on the performance and put on the show, to the community, the fans. I've never seen like a community that was so so involved with what they were doing that they come up with like these equations, like the spending quotient, and all these unique ways to share what the knowledge that they have about the game, or I don't know quite how to explain it, but there's like a level of like intellect that's involved with StarCraft that you don't quite see with. I mean, I don't mean I don't mean to bash other esports, but there's a certain level of thought that goes on with like this type of game and passion and vigor that we see with these people. And I guess like I feel like I'm putting pretty high expectations on myself because now I'm trying to show the world, what's going on here, and I just hope I do it justice.
I want to get a feel for something, Justin, since you mentioned that you were a documentary film fan, and I think two questions come to mind. One, have you had any sort of either film production training or anything like that, or is this the first time you've been involved in a shoot? Let's talk about that first, and then we'll get to my documentary question. So let's start out there.
Sure. Well, if you look at my videos, I think there's a clear progression in like how I've been developing. My first one was pretty rough. Columbus was pretty rough, like as far as visually it goes, and maybe even audio. But I have zero history behind it. I guess the history I do have is I grew up in high school. Me and my buddies, instead of getting drunk on weekends and stuff like that. I mean, we did that too. But on the weekends that we didn't, we would make movies for fun. So we, pull out a camcorder, improvise like a short little thing, and we'd go ahead and edit it all, edit it all in the same night, and just be like laughing, having the best times of our lives doing it. And that's what I guess that's where my history in like making things with like film and video started. But since then, I've paired up with Rafe Smith Entertainment, and my producer Andrew Lee was intelligent enough to like pair me with experienced people, like people who have done documentaries, have been involved with documentaries, been involved with filmmaking. Andrew's produced several documentaries, and this is in his first rodeo. And I think he saw me as like a young, like inexperienced like director. Obviously, I've never directed anything, but inexperienced. So he paired me with a cinematographer, Rick Diaz, who's very good and talented. He's from the AIF out in LA. Sorry, I might have screwed that up. But I'm surrounded myself with people who are professionals and know what they're doing and can really help me grow as this thing moves forward. And I think that's key. And I think in what at least I feel like has been like the growth and where I started from and where I am now.
No, I don't think anybody would disagree that starting out is having the right people around you is key. So when I think of great, documentary filmmakers, Werner Herzog comes to mind, and other great. So I want to know which people most impressed you when it came to documentary filmmakers.
Well, you said that's the guy I love. I mean, have you seen White Diamond?
Indeed. As a matter of fact, one of his first documentaries all the way back in the late 60s, early 70s, he did something called The Flying Doctors of East Africa. I don't know if you ever had a chance to see it. It's well worth it.
I haven't seen it, but I hear he hates it.
Yeah, he actually doesn't, which is why I actually like it, right? Because you get to see Stanley Kubrick, who was one of my favorite film directors of all time, actually, his first work, Fear and Desire, he equally dislikes his earlier work. And I think I hear it a little bit in your voice when you talk about watching your first film clips, and then if you think about where you are today, that rapid progression of the things you learn. So I just want to get a feel for some of the filmmakers that influence you, and how you feel your own development is going now that you sort of have this lexicon of a love and documentary film, and how do you see yourself progressing? And is there, and I hate to ask this, so you don't have to answer it, but what do you want your audience to take away when they're done watching Star Nation? So let's first talk about those filmmakers, and then we'll get to the message of the film.
Sure. I think with like any artistic endeavor, I mean, I guess I can best relate through architecture, or designing things. The first things I've ever designed, there are some things I'm content with that are all right, but I look at every single project, everything I've ever worked on. Like, I mean, even these teaser videos. Everything I've worked on from this point on to where I'm at now is everything I've done is like a stepping stone to like do something better. So I look at the very first things I've done, and a lot of them like I can't look at too deeply or too seriously because I think a lot of them are trash. But I think any great, passionate person, I mean, not necessarily an artist, like I think has to like aspire to do better every single time. And sitting back and being content is kind of easy trap to fall into. But as far as the audience, I want them to care. You know, I want them to watch what I've put in front of them, and I want them to care. I want to have like a emotive connection. I think emotions are some of the strongest things that we have, and I think it's very important to like try and hit those chords as best as possibly to make people care.
So next question that I have based on that is sort of twofold, because I'm really fascinated. At one level, I see you in the caretaker role. I mean, you've got to get it right for the StarCraft fans at one level. But I think there's another level where a lot of people may very much want this movie to catch on mainstream and bring other people into esports, specifically StarCraft. And I imagine, just like in any passion project, walking that line is difficult. Are you walking that line, first of all, not to assume things? And secondly, is it a challenge, you think, to both have enough there for mainstream appeal and then also capture what probably many fans would consider the finer points?
I'm one of those people that likes to believe that, I mean, everybody always disagrees with me. I feel like you can make something good enough where everybody will like it. Everybody. I mean, it doesn't matter like where they come from or their background, if they're involved with esports or StarCraft or not. I think it's possible to make something that everybody would like and enjoy the experience of watching something. That said, oh shoot, I don't know what it's going to take it from there.
No, it's all right. I mean, I think your optimism is going to serve you well as a filmmaker. I mean, I think that optimism is almost a requirement because doubts doesn't always go strong here.
I mean, you know, I don't mean this in any way to knock fans of StarCraft 2, but like, I think it would be very easy to make something that would be satisfactory for them. You know, I don't mean that in a bad way at all. It's just, I mean, you don't have to like build that much of a story behind things because everybody's very familiar with all the characters. Like all right, there's TLO hanging out with White Rod playing foosball, you know, like. But like to make
that's a great point.
Yeah, to make people care beyond just the StarCraft 2 community, you have to. I think you really have to like, you know, you have to set the table. You have to like, you know, kind of show what the scene is all about. And then you got to come in and find some people that allows people to like, or find some characters that allows people to like attach themselves emotively, you know, like where they can connect with them on a deeper level rather than just like, you know, oh great, here's StarCraft 2 as an esport. I think you can make like a StarCraft 2 documentary that's good, that tells you what StarCraft 2 is about as like an esport in like 10 minutes. And to make something that's interesting for like 70, 80, 90 minutes is a lot more difficult. And I think to do that, you really have to find people that everybody will care about, or everybody will have an opinion about. They don't have to like them. They don't have to love them. They just, I mean, they can hate them, you know. As long as they get like a reaction one way or the other.
Justin, I have to tell you, this brings up, if you don't mind me coming in real quick, Jerry, I think this brings up an amazing point, and I'm glad to hear you talk about it, because that was actually the question I was going to sort of delve into next, is what exactly you were looking for as far as a storyline. I mean, because like you said, the StarCraft community, you give them some, you know, some background footage, some footage they haven't seen before, they're watering at the mouth already. You know, so I think you having to set your bar even higher than the community that you're pointing towards is amazing. I applaud you for it. Yeah, I can appreciate, you know, finding that story. It's something that one of the very few things the Championship Gaming Series did well. And I'm not sure if you've been around for that long, if you know what I'm talking about there. But they've But they did that very well in finding stories and particular players and stuff like that, and actually making people care rather than just, I want to watch it for the game. So, I mean, I suppose to talk a little bit about, some of the characters and some of the games, without giving away too much, are there any particular storylines in which you're comfortable sharing that might, entice people into, seeing what exactly this is going? Any particular storylines with any player, any particular storylines with, together, a team, anything?
Ooh. I'm not sure how much I can talk about.
Yeah, if you can't do it, don't do it, buddy. But I'm just, if you can, I know people are interested in hearing stuff like that.
Yeah, we've been following White Rock. He's an individual. He's been around. Well, okay, I'll tell you the two guys. Two guys that we're kind of following more intensely, and then we're taking a very broad survey here. We're not like just focusing on some people. That has to be part of it. You have to like have a wide view. Take a good survey of everything and come in and like focus in on like things every now and then. But by and large, two guys that we're following White Rod and Naniwa. White Rod is an individual who's been around esports or the StarCraft 2 since I think 1998. He's been around for a long time. I think he's one of the oldest. I think he might be the oldest pro. Like he's older than Boxer. He's older than Nasty in the StarCraft 2 scene, and he's been around a lot. And he's an independent player. He's not associated with a team, which I think is important. And also Naniwa, he's an individual that I guess he might have more of a, well, how would you call it? Controversial attitude. I don't know.
Even more so since you started filming, I noticed.
He's a good young guy. He's like a young, hungry lion, and he's looking to win it all. And I think he provides a very nice juxtaposition to White Rod. And like White Rod chooses not to be on a team. Naniwa can't stay on a team. It's something that I think. Teams are important for esports in certain ways, but I feel like following two individuals, one who can't really find a home, the other one who chooses to be on his own, I think is important for, at least largely, as like a broad survey of the scene, not focusing on EG players or any of these other teams. It seems like EG gets a lot of attention. They're great guys. I love everybody on the team. Management's great. Scott Smith's great. Colin Deshawn, Lucas Bigham, all great guys. But we're talking to everybody here. We're trying to talk to every team. We're trying to get in there and have everybody else set the table for what these individuals bring in. We're following other stories too. We're trying really hard to find that underdog American story, like the Rocky story.
I can speak to that personally because I was at MLG Orlando.
Good luck with that.
Hey, at MLG Orlando, I was standing right next to you, Justin, when you were filming VVV Titan. Because there was the Titan versus White Raw match, and that was a phenomenal part of the event when we had this really close best 2 out of 3 and went down to the final game, and that's exactly what you're looking for, is that story, and that's really cool, and we can't wait to see that captured on film. Is there anything like that we might see? Is there any way that you can possibly give us any of that?
Well, to me, it's not important if people win or lose. But we've got some angles we're trying to follow. Like Titan, for example. I forget his first name. I always try to remember players' first names. I interviewed him in Columbus. Tristan, yes. I kept hassling him for interviews at the next events. And I kept catching him after he got knocked out. And he seems like a pretty competitive guy, and he doesn't want to quite. He didn't want to get in front of the camera after he lost, but. Definitely, we're keeping our eyes open. We followed TriMaster at Raleigh, and we're kept an eye on Boyo at Providence, and Titan. We're keeping an eye on this guy, and I think there's a lot. There's so many guys that you meet that nobody's ever heard of. They don't get any attention. I mean, you think about that and you compound that through all the years of esports existence. Like, how many dudes have there been who've like sacrificed everything they've had, and they've gone into these things, gave it their best, and didn't have anything to show from it. And, that's a story I want to tell too. I think it's important. There's a lot of stories in esports that get overlooked, and it's too easy to get latched on to like fame and popularity and all of these things.
Yeah. Amen, Justin. Amen.
I think
I think we need to cut into the video if that's what we want to do next.
Actually, I was just gonna say. I mean,
let's cut into that because I knew you were talking about that, and I think it would probably be best to sort of go into that video.
So everybody knows what we're about to show. We're going to show some footage from Star Nation that has not been seen anywhere before.
Indeed.
So we're going to see how the caretaker of StarCraft community is progressing. So, Justin, before we start this, tell us a little bit about what we're about to watch.
Sure. This is kind of just it's like a teaser of a teaser of sorts. It's like a little thing I've been working on for a little bit.
Hold on, Justin. Are you saying it's an announcement of an announcement? But get ready to get trolled. Better watch.
Gonna be ready when it's done.
All right, so I'm actually gonna cue this up for us right here. Is there anything that you wanted to say to intro it, or?
I'll let it speak for itself. I mean, it's not finished by any means, but I thought it would be something nice for you guys to show on your first podcast of the season, first podcast ever, and first show of the year. So, anyways, thanks for having me on, guys.
Oh, we appreciate it. We really do. And let's get this queued up. I'm actually going to turn on the volume so everyone can hear the video, and let's see what you've got playing for us, shall we? Let's get this rolling.
I am more the kind of person who likes to have a few close friends than many that are not so close. Because I don't like talking shit about people behind their backs.
You can send Whiterun to any group of people and know that he will do the best damn job he possibly can to make them feel special and make them feel like he's a guy worth looking at. That's the kind of guy I think of when I think of him.
Manny was the most difficult player I've ever had to manage, that's for sure. When he first joined the team, I didn't want him in the team.
Wow, that was really cool. That's that's powerful, man. That's cool.
Yeah.
Justin, you're a smart man.
That is insane. That is.
Yeah.
I think, Justin, to be honest, that was a very good selection of shots. Thank you very much for sharing that.
That's not our best stuff we have either. We got some good stuff.
I think you put it together very well. It definitely, I think that really works. I don't want to say a lot. I don't want to overanalyze it. I'm not going to say too much about it, but I think the Star Nation is very much in good hands.
Amen.
So with that being said, I want you to give us a chance to tell us a little bit about the key people that are involved in this project who if we haven't heard about yet, we certainly should hear about. So I'm going to give you a chance to give them a shout out and talk about them.
Sure. We got a pretty small group of people. Like with any documentary, it's a pretty small group of people working on it. But essentially, it's myself. I do a lot of the editing with these teasers, and I'm about to move into. Well, I have been working on it, but it's got a long ways to go. But working on the feature. Andrew's my producer. He takes care of a lot of like the logistical stuff, like finance stuff, and he runs the Facebook and Twitter, but pretty much. I mean, I think I'm more in charge of Twitter, but things get tweeted to Facebook. Rick Diaz is my cinematographer. He's a very talented guy. He works on stuff with like the Red Hot Chili Peppers and Morgan Spurlock. Or no, not him. That's not good. But anyways, he's been on a lot of big projects, and he's a great guy. And we got an audio guy in LA that we use, Kanan Triplett. Again, He's like a pro in the area, and he works for everything. He told me he was hanging out with Will Ferrell one time. I don't know. And,
it's just like randomly. Just like randomly. It's like, hey, what are you eating today? Oh, I hung out with Will Ferrell last night.
Kim is he's a funny guy. If you go to our Facebook page, you can see pictures of him. He's kind of like a punk dude, and he's got like tattoos all over. It's a really chill, super nice guy. And at MLG, at BlizzCon. At BlizzCon, during breaks, he would go out and skateboard out in front. He's like 35. I don't know how old he is, but sometimes on shoots, we have to kind of like have a ragtag group of people, but for the most part, we have solid professionals behind the scenes, working hard. So, at the very least, like, I'm learning a lot from these guys who are professionals, and when we do work with guys that we kind of have to just, patch things together, I can kind of lead them and tell them what I need and what I need to do. I guess, to go off on a tangent, like one of the most difficult things about this project is bringing in these guys that have no idea what StarCraft 2 is and trying to get them to like shoot what you want them to shoot and record audio when you need them to record audio. It's a bit of a learning curve, but it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I bet that's probably a little bit difficult, and I've probably dealt with similar things too. I mean, I'm sure Jerry has too, where we've had people we've sent to certain events to cover either via video or via photography or whatever, and they just come back with pictures that you do not need at all. It's like it's like, all right, there's a picture of the player, he doesn't have a jersey on. There's a picture of a player, he has no gear on. What do we do? It's like, why do I need a picture of him sleeping? Please tell me.
Yeah, I've had the privilege of being on the production side of many a film shoot actually here in Illinois, specifically in Chicago. I've had the privilege of lecturing at Columbia College on film production and sitting on the Illinois Production Alliance to help bring tax credits into the state of Illinois. So modeling it actually after places like Toronto and other places that have a little bit more film-friendly culture, looking not so much on the documentary side of things, obviously, but the feature film production side of things. So if you Google my name on IMDb, probably the most successful thing I did was a short film called The Miracle, which screened probably at over 50 film festivals and took about 22 awards at last count or something like that. So I've had my luck. So
Nice.
I think it's definitely luck, and I'll say I'm a big film fan. Not so much am I have to confess, into documentary films, even though I know the good ones, like any good film fan would. But I don't have that deep eye for some great work. As we were talking earlier, I think Herzog's critique of his first film was that it wasn't really a documentary, it was actually a report. And I think he obviously has contributed to the evolution of documentary filmmaking in many ways. Love him or hate him, even Michael Moore, I think, has done some phenomenal things to the sort of structure of what is a documentary film. But with all that being said, I think looking at what you showed us tonight, I don't know, Justin, I'm going to be honest, I think you're in the right place doing the right thing, and I think you keep doing what you're doing. I think, I don't want to say that a lot of people are going to be hopeful, but I think that's inevitable. Anybody who's passionate about anything, that StarCraft community, based on, as you've seen, wants the world to appreciate or understand why they do what they do. And I think you are probably the person. I've looked at some of the other documentaries that are being made about this, but there's a reason you're on the show. And now we get a chance to talk to you. I just want to say I really wish you the very, very best of luck. I think you're doing the right thing, and I really trust, I guess I just trust you to tell the story. That's how I feel. So I just want to say congratulations so far, and please keep it up.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So a lot of work ahead.
Indeed. So final shout-outs, Justin. Anybody you want to say anything to? Anything you want to throw out there?
Well, I want to thank everybody who's ever donated to the project. You're the reason why I'm doing this. I wouldn't be here doing this if it weren't for you. And I'd also like to thank Steel Series for supplying all of our mouse pads for our donations and hooking us up with goodies like this. They do a lot of great things for the esports scene. They seem to sponsor a lot of people, and they were nice enough to send stuff out our way when we didn't have much to show for it. Good people.
I couldn't agree with you more, to be honest. Kim Rom and the whole crew at Steel Series obviously sponsors EV Gaming. We share that sponsor with Evil Geniuses, and Kim Rom and Julie and the whole team are just, I don't know, they're evangelists in their own rights for something really special. So I think that's fantastic. So Justin, thank you. Hopefully we can invite you back on the show, hopefully in maybe 3 months or so, to see where you're at in the production. Does that sound good?
Yeah, I'd love to. Whenever you guys want to have me on, I'd be glad to hop in and let you know what I've been up to.
Awesome, Justin. Well, Jason, I'm going to let you take it away from here.
Most definitely. Justin, once again, thank you so much for stopping by this week and sharing with us. I mean, it's pretty cool to have you on our first video cast that we've done. So once again, sir, appreciate it. Thank you. And we look forward to having you on again, man. Take care, and we'll see you soon, all right? And he's
all right. Sounds good, guys.
We caught him off guard just a little bit there. All right, wow, that was pretty good. What do you guys think? Jerry, any thoughts before we wrap things up on our first show back?
No, I mean, it's good to be back. I wanted to come into the year slowly. I told everybody I don't want to cover too much of the core stuff. I think a lot's going to change, but I really wanted Star Nation to be something to get attention. I looked at the other documentaries that were being made, and there was something about this one that sort of spoke to me as authentic. And anybody who mentions Werner Herzog to me is somebody that they really like. It's an easy name to like, but I mentioned a film that not everybody knows about, and the fact he knew that Herzog didn't really like his first film, he's authentic. He's genuine. I don't feel that there's a lot to worry about him, and I think he really wants to tell the right story. I think he's right about teams. It can't be EG stories. It can't be complexity story. People down the street don't give a shit who EG or Check 6 or VVV are. Nor should they yet, right? We're not there yet. They need to connect to the players and the fans and the people. And although there are people in Check 6 and VVV and EG, I think he's taking the right approach. And again, he's well-spoken. He seems passionate. I definitely felt that he knew the community just listening to him speak. And he had a very much an outsider's perspective coming in, I think. Kurt, what did you feel? I mean, I thought it was good. What do you think?
I mean, to be honest, I mean, I don't want to take too much time because I know we got to wrap up. But I mean, I really, really was surprised after watching, quite a few esports documentaries have been out. People don't realize. I mean, they had Frag, and then they had the Game Boys book, and a few other things come out, and all of them shared similar qualities. Where it was basically, it just felt like this behind-the-scenes thing more than really trying to engage people other than the audience that we already have. For instance, I watched a documentary, and I recommend it to anyone at all. For some reason, it's about arm wrestling, and it's called Pulling John. And I don't know, Jerry, I don't know if you have any idea what I'm talking about. It's I think it's an obscure documentary, but it's about an arm wrestler. And I don't know a damn thing about arm wrestling. I couldn't care less. But this documentary will pull you in. And I feel like the way he is engaging and sort of trying with Star Nation, it's going to pull people in. It's going to be something that DJ Week can show his mom. It's going to be something that I can show my parents. That will actually get them somewhat engaged. It's pretty amazing stuff. I'm really excited.
Awesome. Well, we're coming to the end of the first show back. I think we survived most of our technical problems, which is good. I'm pretty happy. I'm glad that we're back on air. I look forward to getting back in the swing of things. I've spent a long time playing Star Wars: The Old Republic. Now, for those of you who don't know, and Kurt's played, and Paradise, I know you've played, and Christian's played a lot. I think video game history is being made. So if you do not own Star Wars, but you're one of those who buys every other game, you should own Star Wars. It went into the Guinness Book of World Records as the largest voiceover acting project ever. The storylines in Star Wars are amazing. The player versus player combat is good for an MMO, but there are things they need to fix. But the core mechanics of being an MMO are there. There's some endgame bugs with certain bosses for those who know MMO stuff. But this is one of those that if they fix those things, it becomes probably the greatest MMO ever made. If they don't, you certainly would not lose out going through what I would argue is the greatest MMO stories ever written. I don't know, Kurt, you're a good example because you're not a Star Wars person from what I know. And what have your thoughts of the game been?
Yeah, I'm actually probably one of the only people on the planet who has never watched any of the Star Wars movies all the way through. So I'm not a Star Wars guy. I just bought it because I saw a lot of you guys in there. Figured I'd give it a shot. I would say if you don't like MMOs at all, you're not going to like this, of course. It's not like it's, they've completely remade the MMO to where you're going to love it. But if you like MMOs in the slightest, you will like this probably the most. I like it. I've played quite a few MMOs in the past, although not, really being addicted to any of them. But I probably like this one definitely the most of all three. So. But I suppose the better people to ask would be the people that actually are dedicated dedicated MMOs. I did exactly what I told you I would do, and I got to level 30, and then I died out. now I'm like, okay, I got to get back to other stuff.
No, I hear you. I mean, we got to work and do our things, and I want to hear from Christian too, because Christian played a lot of Star Wars, and he's what I affectionately call a WoW nerd. So, Christian,
but
what do
you know
think?
what? Hold on. Before Christian, first of all, is your mic working? Because your video stopped working, sir.
As far as I know, my microphone's still working. Am I still here?
Your microphone is working. Okay, so since you are not there, I'll just put up another picture of you. Go ahead, buddy.
Oh, that is beautiful.
You're on.
Beautiful.
There you go.
I'm on in all my blue glory.
It looks just like you.
I come from playing World of Warcraft for 6 to 7 years before eventually dying out, leaving off to the MOBA genre, and then coming back to another MMO in Star Wars: The Old Republic. My first initial thoughts of World of Warcraft as an MMO was amazing. It was an amazing MMO back in the days before Burning Crusade, before Wrath of the Lich King, before Cataclysm. And that's when that eventually did die out because they threw too much content in there. They didn't throw enough story. They didn't throw enough lore back behind it to really give it that nice, good quality that gamers are looking for. My initial thoughts on Star Wars were amazing, beautifully scripted storyline, amazing cutscenes. Every single mission, every single quest had its own entity. It felt like you were doing something unique in the world, and it felt like you were making a difference. With Star Wars, it just takes that to a whole new level. They've definitely raised the bar above what I believe anybody expected to come from an MMO. And EA and BioWare just blew it out of the water, did an amazing job. I've played through the Imperial Agent storyline. I've seen the Bounty Hunter storyline. I've seen the Inquisitor storyline. I've seen pretty much every storyline the Empire side has to offer through whether through watching a friend play through the storyline or through playing it myself, and it's truly amazing. It's a game you can definitely wrap yourself in the story and really connect with your character and the characters you interact with in the game who aren't players, but you also connect with players as well. But as far as Star Wars is concerned, it is by far the best MMO that I have seen come out ever since Dark Age of Camelot. It's hands down the best. I highly suggest anybody, if you absolutely detest MMOs, if you've never played an MMO in your life before, pick up Star Wars. You're going to enjoy it whether you're a fan of the genre or not.
Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, people still ask me, Lord Jarrett, should I get Star Wars? And I say yes. I don't think there's what I can echo what Asylum just said, in that I think one, Doomhammer plays a bounty hunter, and his storyline is so fun. and what something BioWare has done that I think is really special is that the companions that you eventually get your own ship, your own companions. The storylines that they have are so rich that I don't know. At the end of the day, it's amazing that anybody would put this amount of effort into creating something. It is to me a game breaker. If you are a pure MMO fan, though, and you've played them all, once the story's done, will there be enough to keep you here? Is there enough end game content? There are 8 and 16-man raids at the end. There are currently 2 major instances known as flashpoints, and there are a ton of smaller instances, large 8 and 16-man operations, and a smaller instances called flashpoints, which are 4-man. So I think there's a lot of end-game content, but that's not why I would get this game, even though it doesn't fail in any of those areas. I'd get it to quote our own Doomhammer, I actually felt like I was saving the galaxy, that I was a part of this whole thing. So, Jason, what do you think?
Oh man, wow. So let's see. I've always been on and off with MMOs, and I've played a couple of different ones: Dark Age of Camelot, World of Warcraft, Warhammer, Ion, Rift, and to me, this game's blowing them all out of the water so far. I mean, just the storyline aspect. I've personally only been playing a bounty hunter. I haven't, unfortunately, had too much time to be playing, unfortunately, due to work and this random trip to DC this past week. But from everything that I've played so far, I think I'm up to level 28 or something like that. Great, wonderful. The storyline's fantastic. I'm coming near the end of the first chapter, and I'm hooked. I wish I had more time to play. I really look forward to rolling my second character once I unlock my legacy, get my last name, things like that. But I definitely would recommend anybody try it out. Definitely. What's the worst? You get a month free. If you don't like it, you don't have to subscribe. But we have a wonderful guild. We have nearly 500 people playing with us. Come give it a try. Come hop on, play a few games with us, play some PvP, and you'll have a good time. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Definitely recommend it.
With that being said, I think we've come to the end of the show. It's about that time, Jason. I think, I want to thank our guests. But Jason, really, you always do the ending, and the new year, I don't want to get starting on the ending.
Sure.
I promised everyone, though, there will be rants to come.
There better be.
I want to stick to our 2-hour limit. Tonight, and I'll say this briefly, I was going to rant a little bit about each community wanting to say they're the best or they're the special. We have a long way to go. Esports has a long way to go. Whether the Brawl community is better than the StarCraft community doesn't interest me personally. I think the argument is a silly one. I do think, though, in 2012, we do have a lot of opportunities to start to move more toward the mainstream and using a variety of different genres of games to get people interested in what we're doing. And I think we've got some key partners in Major League Gaming, in the World Cyber Games, and IPL. We have some key partners in Twitch TV that really gets streaming and I think is a critical partner to anybody in competitive gaming. So we have a lot going on that's really important. And we're going to need in 2012 quality content. We're going to need to have messaging and stories that people who are not currently esports fans are going to start to relate to and then be drawn into. Hopefully everybody keeps that in mind. This year, I'm going to spend a lot of time looking outside, and when drama or melodrama or the news of the week or whatever little thing comes up, I'm going to be a little less interested in that and a little more interested in the people that are going out there and bringing new faces into competitive gaming. So with that being said, I want to thank all of my co-hosts for tonight. But Jason, go ahead and finish it up.
Yeah, most definitely, most definitely. First things first, thanks to everybody for sticking through the little bit of technical difficulty that we did have during the early bit of the show, and thankfully, that's, growing pains. It does happen. We will be getting better with it over the next couple episodes, and I'm gonna have to see if I can get my internet upgraded, because I think my bandwidth has something to do with it. I'm a little fed up with XSplit at the moment. I'm gonna see if about looking into some other programs to use, and we'll see what happens in the future. But I definitely need your feedback. So anything you guys think about the show, if you like the format, if you think we could do better, send some emails to us, losersbracket@vvv-gaming.com. You can also tweet to us on Twitter, of course. Losersbracket is the account, or my personal account is VVV Paradise if you want to talk to me directly. Send any feedback you've got. I would love to hear it. I want to give a big shout out to our sponsors, as always: SteelSeries, Gamer Grub, Control Freak, MusicSkins.com. We're going to be doing a lot with them in the coming year, so you definitely want to stay tuned for that. Really cool. Always got to give a big shout out to Power Glove as well. The fact that they give their music to us to use on the show each and every week, they're wonderful. Thank you so much to the guys there. Another big shout out to the VVV gaming community and all the entire competitive gaming community that supports us. We love you guys. We do this for you, so thank you so much. And a couple other shout outs real quick. I said it earlier in the show. I gotta say it again. Matthew Cronin, VVV Jolly, one of the best hosts. If you ever get the chance to go to DC, I recommend going to his nightclubs, District and Underground. You will have the best time you have ever had, I guarantee you. Other shout outs from me real quick. Taylor, really good friend of mine that lives in DC. She came out, had a blast with her. Actually, Zayori. Want to give a shout out to Zayori, who did some work with VVV Gaming earlier last year when he did a little documentary on our StarCraft players for MLG Orlando. I ran into him at MAGFest. Really cool to talk to him. Thank you to him for being so kind. And to the players that I played with in the Guitar Hero tournament, you all were great. Ostachar was one of them. I wish I could remember the other name off the top of my head. I'll have to look it up on Twitter so that I don't completely forget you here. Oh, I'll look on my phone and I'll check it out. But while I'm doing that, another big shout out to the guys from Activision for running the Guitar Hero tournaments. Let's see, where is your name? You just sent it to me a few minutes ago. Kittler C. Colin. Another big shout out to you as well. Great finals match against you at the tournament, sir. Final things to wrap up. As always, be sure to stop by our podcast homepage. The website is vvvgaming.podbean.com. You can also subscribe to us on iTunes to follow the Losers Bracket. Just look up VVV Gaming. We'll come right up. All of our latest news can be found on our Twitter, as I said earlier, Losers Bracket. Follow us. We're also going to be putting all of our video episodes up on our YouTube. The YouTube channel is the VVV Gaming. Just go subscribe and definitely like the video. Give us some thumbs up. We would appreciate it. Any other feedback? Please, all of us. As you've seen throughout the show, Jerry's Twitter, Lord Jareth, Key Hunt, that picture, I can't take you seriously, dude. And Asylums is at VVV_Asylum. So definitely, if you have any feedback, let us know. Let me pass it over to Gumby himself so that he can tell you his shout-outs. Go ahead, buddy. The floor is yours.
That gummy picture gets me every time, man. Seriously.
It gets us too, I promise.
It's crazy. But again, a big shout-out to VVV Gaming. And, of course, our regular viewers, Biscuit, Glory, Spike. You guys always come out and always make sure the chat's always fun and interesting to watch while the show's going on. So thank you guys for coming out and showing your support as always. Again, a big thank you to VVV sponsors, SteelSeries, Gamer Grub, Control Freak, Game Servers, and MusicSkins.com, who we'll be doing some work with in the future. And a big thank you, again, to you guys, the viewers. Without you, we wouldn't be here. We do it for you, we do it for the community, we do it for esports. Jerry, any last shout-outs you have?
Well, hold on. Before
mine are kind of simple. I just want to give a shout out to.
Okay, fine, Jerry. Take it over. I was going to do Kurt's for him since he had to step out, but.
Oh, go right ahead. No,
okay.
Go ahead.
Kurt just said, "Hey, give some shout outs for me." He said, "Follow him over on Twitter. It's at ENE Keyhunt." I'll put it up on the screen one more time so you could see that beautiful, gorgeous face of his and how he attracts all the lovely women. And then he also said, definitely follow Check Six, his gaming organization, over on Twitter as well, because. We definitely want to represent them as well, since he's here with us on the show every single week. But Jerry, please take it away.
No, I want to thank all of you. Welcome back to 2012, and we have a lot of work to do. a lot of interesting stuff as we start looking to see what Major League Gaming is actually going to do. We have a great Gears team. We're going to be looking at Call of Duty, Halo, obviously League of Legends team. There's so much going on, and it's good to finally be back, so I'm happy to be here. I'm going to be honest, I'm still going to spend a lot of time in Star Wars. I think it's well worth taking a look at. Can't stress that enough. I want to thank our guests. I want to thank Diembrandon. I want to thank Rapture. I want to thank Justin from Star Nation. Really appreciate you being on our first show back in 2012. And we're going to have a lot of interesting things coming up. So I don't want to spoil any of that yet, but I think you'll be pleasantly surprised as we have more guests, more videos, as we work to up the production value. You know, there's going to be some growing pains along the way. Also want to remind everybody tomorrow night, same channel right here, starting at 6 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock Eastern. We're going to have Wednesday night StarCraft to watch VV play StarCraft against our opponents. Who is Christian? You know who they are?
Light Esports, a newer team that has recently been revived.
There you go. So that's what we're going to be doing
Wire
tomorrow night
Ice,
on Wednesday night
Pinsky,
StarCraft.
Caliber. Really, really good team. You guys got a handful.
I know,
Wow.
we do. Look at Kurt comes back.
Kurt just
So, yeah,
reappeared.
we're definitely gonna be going after that, and we're gonna be going after hopefully. Well, actually, I also want to let you know we're gonna have a special giveaway on our Wednesday night StarCraft tomorrow night for a Diablo 3 beta key. So you might want to pay attention. All right, everybody, I'm out of here. Have a good night. Take care. We'll see you next week.
All right, one last thing before we go, and this will give you a reason to follow us over on Twitter, just so you guys know one last thing. As we were just talking about giveaways, I posted something up on the Losers Bracket Twitter earlier tonight that I was going to be giving away games for retweeting us, and I might do this a couple more times in the future too, because I've got a stack of cards like these laying around, and I'm never going to use them. So this week, especially because of the way we ended the year last year with Halo, and we had a lot of people that were mad at us, but we love you. We wanted to, show that we love Halo, so I'm giving away a copy of Halo Reach, and I'm going to give that away to one of the people that randomly retweeted us, and the person that was picked this week is at SleeKingT1, so I will be messaging you on Twitter so that I can give you this code to download a free copy of Halo Reach. So thank you so much for retweeting us, and we'll be doing this a couple more times in the future, so definitely want to follow us over that way, and check out what we're doing, because you might win some free swag, which is always good. Speaking of swag, we might even have some next week. If all things go according to plan, we should have Guitar Hero social media to come on and talk about the Activision tournaments next week. Eric, the guy who runs the account, and I have been talking back and forth about trying to make that happen. He'll be down here in Orlando, so as long as he can make it, we will have him on the show. And we'll have some more great content for you, hopefully some more video action, and we're going to continue to keep improving this, so please, I implore you one more time, give us as much feedback as you can. We really need it. So thank you so much. Welcome to 2011. We look forward to a great year in competitive gaming, and we'll see you back here next week, guys. Take care of yourselves. Have a good one. Same time next week, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, and enjoy SWTOR if you're playing it or whatever else, and see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.